Hey everybody, welcome back to Time with Jesus and Truck Talk and Daily Talk. Now, you ever put thought into time? See, we're free to walk around. God gives us a free will. We don't use it very well sometimes. Some of us barely even use it at all at times. But let's just say this. What if I was to come up to you and tell you that you're going to live to be 998 years old? And you may say, well, yeah, no, that's impossible. But what if I gave it guaranteed, and it was guaranteed that you were going to live that long? You may say, well, I really don't want to live that long. Some people may want to live that long. Is that that's the way that the world is? God has created us all in the same liking. We look alike as far as human-wise goes, maybe not as far as looks go, but we all take on the body form of the same. So, now what if I say that 998 years you're going to live half of it in peace and the second half in turmoil, being tortured? Then what if I say you got another 6 years following that, but you're going to age 1,000 years? So at the end, let's just say you're going to be about 6,998. But it's going to be pure torture. See, the peace is done. And I'm walking you around showing you all the torture chambers, all the things that's going to happen to you. Lack of food, your insides is going to feel like something's in there just shredding your stomach and stuff apart because you're so hungry. That you would literally start biting on insects and whatever you can find. Some of you may say, no, I would never do that. I will take the mark of the beast first and try to repent. Well, good luck with that. Because you can't repent if Jesus isn't present. See, Jesus will be reigning with those who are faithful, and those who were obedient, and those who held God's word. But let's just get back to the time frame here. So in this time frame, you know, if you take that mark, you're in damnation anyways. So at that point, what difference does it make? Because half of you live in a damnation world now. And you choose to have this fleshly world. You choose flesh. That's your free will. Some of you even go to church and then come out and sing stupid songs, uphold Lucifer's holiday. Churches are doing it all over. I mean, you can walk in most churches today and you got more sinners and more fake than you do actual people that believe. It's a crime if you raise your hand in church to celebrate and put your hands up to God. That's like the Bible says. Men shall raise their hands. We're so judgmental. We're ready to cast stones at everybody and anybody, but as soon as you're brought to trial, you want to hurry up and back away from it. My thing is, you got all these people that speak all this negativity, but when you come to them and say, I have the truth, listen to this, and then you decide. Okay, when's a good time? And they never get back to you. What a bunch of fake people. Because they don't want to be exposed. It's easier to cast stones at somebody else than it is to expose your own self. But in that 998 years, you're going to be exposed. Because people are going to turn on you quicker than you can throw that stone. Because you were too busy with spiritual blinders on, throwing your rocks, but you realized you thought you were throwing at someone else, but in reality that glass house you lived in were glass mirrored house. You were just throwing stones at yourself. By the time you realize that your house is falling apart and the glass is all shattered and the foundation is falling apart, your house is falling in on you. I don't know what to tell you, but all I can say is it's your own fault. See, Satan is trying to divide and break down households. He's trying to destroy families. And we're letting him. We're letting him. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Isn't it unbelievable how he is able to do that because our free will allows that to happen? Show me where God is in any of that. Show me. Impossible, because you can't. But I can show you where Satan is in it. Now, let's go back to the time frame in your age. What if I told you seven years you were going to remain on this earth before your punishment, before you end up in hell? Because the only way to receive Christ at that point is truly surrendering, and you will be beheaded. But if you're not even capable where you can walk around with your free will now and freely worship Him and not have to worry about being beheaded, the only thing you got to worry about is how many people are going to walk away from you. And if you worry about that, I'm telling you right now, they don't probably half of them talk about you anyways. You'd be surprised how many people I found out the nonsense that people will speak about.
2 miles ahead, use the left to
90% of them family.
west.
10% the people that I used to hang around with, and I could really give a crap about their 5 seconds worth of comments. Because I caught people talking about me all the time. There's so many fake people out there. There's so many people that claim to be one way, but then as soon as it doesn't go their way, or they're no longer in need of you, they cast you out into the wilderness. They don't care if you survive. They don't care how you survive. They don't care what you're going through. But then when it gets me is you always hear, you cost me this. Or you owe me this. Really? You have no idea what someone went through or why the things happen. You just are focused on yourself.
1 mile ahead, use the left.
Do you really think that anybody wants to hurt somebody? When you get to that point in life when you're fighting or flighting, and sometimes the flight, you just can't do it. Because you don't have the money to get on the flight. So you're going to fight. You're going to pull and do whatever you possibly can to survive. Are you with me? So, hell opens up. You're looking at hell. You can't see heaven because your sight's always been on hell. Your sight has never been on heaven. It's always been on hell. Because you love an earthly world.
Use the left 2 lanes to stay on I-90 West.
I have so many people tell me what they can or can't do to me. It's amazing. You can't do nothing unless God gives you the permission to do it.
78.3 miles ahead.
Satan can't do nothing in my life that I don't give him or God doesn't give him. Sometimes God doesn't give it, but I give him the permission to do it. That's how ridiculous it is following him. So you got to understand something here. When somebody starts blaming Satan, I say go look in the mirror because you're the one that said the okay with it. Because it's sounding good. Or how about this? How about you got these pure pressure friends, but your so-called friends, well, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be around anybody that talks crap about me behind my back or makes fun of me in front of my face or has little code words or has some little thing that they all agree on. It's so dang gone disrespectful, it's not even funny, but you got to remember they're doing it to God and Jesus before they do it to you. They don't even realize that. You know why? Because they live in a world that's never going to end. I am going to live until I decide I am done living. Really? Let me know how that works out for you. Because you fear the unknown. That's what well, how do you know heaven's real? Well, you're so dang on fearful that heaven doesn't exist. Then what keeps you going then? Do you believe hell's real? Because we're going somewhere. I just believe when we die, that's it. Oh, really? How's that working out for you? If that's the case, why does good things happen? Why is there demonic activities? Why is there possessions of bodies? Why is there people seeing things that they think they see, but it's really not? Because they're being deceived. They're being deceived. Satan is really good. Listen, if Lucifer himself comes up to you and talks to you right straight in your face, tells you he's going to do something, and you sit there and say, it's not going to happen, you just lost the deal with the devil. You know, it's like devil went down to Georgia backwards. Because the devil ain't going to lay no golden fiddle at your feet. You know why? Because he is too dang on clever. He's been doing it a long time. He knows what he's doing. The watchers have been watching you for centuries. They know your likes, they know your dislikes, they know everything about you. They know how to lead you astray because they play that magical fiddle, and that's what they do. Go! Oh my gosh, this person just unbelievable. You know, I tell you guys this all the time in videos. When you're driving and you're getting on an on-ramp, most people don't even yield. That yield sign doesn't even exist. But when you flash your lights, everybody knows you're flashing your lights, somebody's letting you over. But when you come on and then proceed to come onto there and then slow down to almost a stop, what the heck is wrong with this picture? I don't know about anybody else, but I know I did a lot of crazy things before I became a truck driver. We don't like to ride behind them. We don't like to ride next to them. We don't like to ride in front of them. We don't like to do anything around a semi-truck. I tell people all the time, don't ride by the tandems, which are the back tires of a trailer. Don't ride next to them. Don't ride next to the drives, which are the tires right before you get to the front of there. And then we have our steer tires, which are the very two front tires. Don't ride by none of those. Because if those suckers blow out, they're coming at you. We're talking what we call the retreads, basically a tire, and they put another tread reel around that, and then they glue it down. That sounds real safe, don't it? Because they realize it's cheap to do that. It's called a retread tire. They're basically retreading that tire. I've had them tires come on, and I no sooner get down the road, and I had them break loose before. You talking about? That's why sometimes if you're driving and you see a big chunk of it laying across the road, that's why they call them alligators and stuff, because they kind of look like a dang gone alligator laying across the road. I've actually had that happen once down in Florida. I was driving to go deliver some insulation, and see, when I thought it was a chunk of tire. So I was going to stop because it was a 2-lane road. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I set my brakes, grabbed my gloves, and I was going to get out and pull it off the road. Well, by the time I walked up there and I seen that head turned, and I was like, oh, no. I never got out of the truck again when I seen one. I tell you that much. Let's get back to where we were. Because I can sit there and think about a lot of things right now, going through my mind, going, what if this? What if that? But see, let me use that for a moment. See how I was deceived? Because we're programmed to think one way. As a driver, we look at those, oh, it's just a tire chunk. You know, it's just a strip of the tread that came off. No big deal. I'll see if I can get around it. If not, I'm going to slow down and try to bump over it and not throw it up in the air to where it's going to get stuck up underneath me, or I'm going to sling it out into traffic even more and hit somebody else's car and do damage. Unfortunately, as far as I know, I've talked to DOT officers. I know a DOT officer, and as far as I know, and what they tell me, you cannot sue somebody for a chunk of tire being on the road, and if you hit it and it flies up and hits somebody's car. Just like now they put these warning things, not responsible for anything falling off this truck. That is not true. That is not true, because then how do you give somebody a ticket for an unsecured load? Because you're responsible for that load. If stuff's falling off there, that's an unsecured load. Rocks, dirt, mulch. Because I got a ticket for mulch blown out of the back of my trailer once, and I had a tarp broke loose because the bungee broke, and the cop gave me a ticket, unsecured load. Or leaves are blowing out the back. Either way, it's the same concept. Now, he gave me a warning for that because I was able to fix it there on the spot. But he gave me a warning. See, we got plenty of warnings. We got plenty of warnings out here. What's getting ready to take place? But you're too busy running after that butterfly or playing why the older brother is making the house out of bricks. While you're watching a man build a boat, and you're too busy laughing at him going, yeah, idiot. Look at him over there building that ark for 40 years. Oh, man, look at all the fun we've had. Ha, 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 ha. And then it starts raining. And then the water's up to your ankles. And then the water's up to your knees. And now you're trying to get over to that ark as quick as you can, and there's nobody letting you in. And I'm going to tell you what, the big bad wolf ain't laying there going, ha ha, by the hair of my chin, I'm going to huff and puff, because now that big bad wolf's going, man, I was deceived too. I got so caught up to playing the game, whether I was a sheep or a wolf, I forgot what I was. I thought I was invincible. Well, wait a minute, Lucifer. Did I not play a wolf and a sheep? Yes. Well then, where's my reward? Oh, yeah, that's right. I owe you a reward. Okay, here's your reward. I'm going to let you come at the very end of all the people that I get, and I'm going to let you watch them get tortured before I torture you. Congratulations. Next. Makes you wonder, don't it? How many of you are sitting there right now thinking, huh, yeah, I don't know if I'm liking this so far. Good. Good. Set your alarm clock because it's time to wake up. You're sleeping too long because you're out here enjoying whatever it is you think you can enjoy, because you're bragging. You know how people are so miserable in life when they brag about what they're doing? They don't even know that they're doing demonic things when they're putting on these evil tattoos and all these piercings, and people walk around with this high and mighty because look at my car. Hey, did you pay for it? No. Then I'm not impressed. But I'm married to the person. It doesn't matter. What have you done? Show me what you have done for the kingdom of God. Show me, well, I can tell you what you've done for the kingdom of Satan. Because God says, rise up, rise up, rise up. Not down, not level, rise up. You're to rise up. You can be demoted back to customer. Walmart's famous thing. You can't do nothing. You can tell me to leave, but I'll tell you one thing. I will smile as I walk out the door. Because I have fulfilled my purpose, whatever God has for me to do here. I've had people tell me that I would never get any kind of driving jobs at certain places. I've been put on blacklists at other companies. Why? Because I tried to tell them what was going on in their company, and they didn't want to hear it. I tried to tell an owner of his company what was going on, that people were plain liars, and he told me flat right out that nobody lies. That is among my staff. But that's not true. That's not true. See, people like that don't even know what it's like to live. You know, they probably never had to struggle. They probably don't know what it's like to not be able to afford something, and then you got to work even harder. You got to be able to show this income, but you can't. I don't care if you're making $1.50 a mile. If you're not running no miles and you're stuck all the time because their dispatchers suck, well, and then you get a reply, well, they're no longer here. Okay, what does that have to do with what was done to me? Because they don't want to go back and look. But it's funny, after you leave and you know people that still work there, and you talk to them, all these changes came about. All these people were let go, and they brought in new people. And it's funny how I sent messages saying, hey, once we get everything situated, I couldn't afford to keep paying the park down in Florida, plus pay a ridiculous rent. Just couldn't do it. But look what God has done. God has put me in a place that I was told that I would never get hired into. And that's something. even at the time of the interview, I was going through there trying to explain a lot of my drive history. And the guy told me that was interviewing me, he says, all I'm worried about is if your accidents or anything in there, and it wasn't about why. But the interesting question, he said, you know what's amazing about it? They kind of look ridiculous because they put you on this blacklist, as you're calling it, but yet they hired you back a couple times. So it's obviously the problem wasn't you, it's them. Now here's a guy that I never knew, didn't know nothing about me, but yet that's what he said. He says, well, sometimes pride will keep people from doing the right things because they're trying to teach you a lesson. Oh, you'll never come back here and work again. But look what you brought to the table. You wasn't afraid to stand up and tell them there's stuff going wrong here. But it wasn't just trucking. I had another company I worked at, the same thing. Even in one incident where I put my life on the line to put a fire out. Because the owner thought she was God. But she came up and thanked me. They lost a little bit of product and stuff they ordered. They had to reorder some stuff. But that's it. No lives were hurt. The building wasn't damaged. Just some supplies that got ordered. Isn't that something? You know, people, sometimes you got to look at life and go, wow. Because all these things you do to people in that time frame that I keep taking you back to, you're going to relive these things. Because that's your punishment that you made of yourself. See, Satan ain't going to do anything to you. Yeah, you're going to be tortured. You're going to maybe get your skin ripped off you and restored. You're maybe going to get your fingers broke, your toes ripped apart, toes maybe ripped completely off your foot and then restored. And you're going to have that down again and again and again. They may just take their nails and just slice your throat open, and you may have that repeatedly over and over and over, to the point that you just start crying as soon as they're walking near you. Because you know the pain, what's about to happen. But the pain just keeps increasing. Well, that's your opinion, Nelson. All right, you're right. Let me tell you what. My opinion is this. It scared me so bad that I know I have to talk about it, to bring truth about it, but I really care not to. I really care not to go back and think about my past. Because a lot of people like to use my past. But what they don't like to use about my past is when they provoke the beast and the beast awaits. They don't like that because they have never seen it. My kids have seen me upset. They've seen me mad. They've seen me to a point that I'd stand face to face. I don't care who it was. They never seen me fight. And they never seen me to the point where the beast took over. Now, I'm not bragging about this. I'm just telling you something. So naturally, they don't have that fear. They don't have the fear of God, because if they had the fear of God, they would know what awaits them. Hell. family members, same way. I mean, it's amazing how people talk about you and they think that you would never find out. Well, you can go on your little dinner arrangements and you can go on all your little sit-togethers and gathers around during the holidays and talk about whatever you want. But if you don't invite the host of who you're roasting, it does no good. If these celebrity roasts, they didn't have the person there they're going to roast, what good is it? None. What if I press charges against you about something? You had to go to court, but the judge says, hey, no, you're attorney and you're not welcome in the courtroom. Well, how are we going to plead our case? I don't know. Not my problem. So I'm sitting in there going, well, Your Honor, here's what's going on here. This is why I feel they owe me this. And in the end, you end up paying $90,000. And you're like, I don't even have $90,000. How the heck am I supposed to pay you $90,000? Well, I'm going to then, Your Honor, they're not going to pay me, so I want to put a lien on their stuff. I want to put a garnish on their wages until I'm paid off my $90,000. Is it fair to you that you don't even get an opportunity to speak, but now you're paying $90,000 and your wages are getting part of your wages, and I got liens against your property, even if you sold it? Let's just say you wanted to move and you still owed $100,000 on your property, and you sold it for $150,000. Well, guess what? You just paid them. You paid the $100,000 off. You think you're going to walk out there with $50,000, put $10,000 down on another house, and you're going to walk around with $40,000? But guess what? That $40,000. That $50,000 you still got left over goes to me. You still owe me $40,000. So now you just sold your house, you got no money, you can't put money down on another house because you had to pay me. See, eventually you got to pay the devil. Eventually you got to pay Lucifer. They want. See, God gives you a free will, a free grace to go to heaven. Willingly, you will go. There's no gimmicks. There's no attachments. There's no nothing. All he asks is you to do the right thing. And doing the right thing is too damn hard for people. You can't do the right thing. You know why? Because you have no fear of God. You laugh about this satanic world we live in. You go out there and put on the mask, and the demons are laughing at you when they're walking by you. Ha ha! See you soon. Wow, that's a good costume. I'm so scared. Ooh, you will be scared when that costume isn't a costume. And you truly are going to see the demons coming at you, knocking you down and just dragging you. Wait till you get into the part of hell when it's like, I guess, like a crystals, if you had to put it that way. And it's really hot lava crystallizing upwards. It's so hot, so pokey, that when you're getting drug across that, let me know how that feels. Let me know how it feels. If I was to go out in your backyard right now, take a piece of steel and weld nails sticking out of it, put a bunch of coals around it and wood, catch it on fire, and get it as hot as I could possibly get it, grab the hold of you and start dragging you towards it, what would you do? You'd be kicking, screaming, doing whatever you can to get loose. You can't get loose from a demon, and if you did, where you're going, it's like what I always say. Why don't we take some of these hardcore criminals that are in there, strap a gun to them, and take them overseas? Let them go fight. Because you ever hear that song, The One Night in Bangkok, where a hard man becomes humble? Yeah, you're going to become humble real quick. What are they going to do, take off? You're an American. They're going to kill you anyways. Man, I'll tell you what. Put me in charge of these these systems. I'll tell you right now, we will have the cleanest streets. We will have the cleanest cities because I'll make them go to work. I will make people stop committing crimes because they're going to know there's a harsh punishment waiting on them. We have a harsh punishment waiting on us if we don't repent, if we don't ask for that forgiveness. I can forgive you, but you still got to go to God. You still got to go to Jesus. But you're too foolish to do it because your pride. Well, welcome to hell, people, because that's Lucifer, master of pride, the king of pride. You know what's funny? I speak a lot of stuff about the demonic realm and the things that I've seen in the demonic realm. I speak about things that people, because they don't have no knowledge of it, they discredit what I say. But isn't it funny how many years have I been talking about Lily, from the beginning? And now all of a sudden her name's starting to surface more and more. Now all of a sudden she's starting to surface. You know why? Because she's here. She's always been here. She's just clever. That's why you're seeing men do the ridiculous stuff that you see men doing today. Why you see women doing it? Because she doesn't have no problem. She despises everybody. She really hates men. She hates men so much because she was placed under man. Oh, no, you're not. Oh, no, I'm not serving under him. Now you see why some of these women have got that spiritual prideness of themselves. Oh, no, no, no. I had a lady say something a while back. She goes, we got rights. Okay. Am I saying you don't? No, you don't understand. I said, okay. So you go outside and your tire's flat and a man pulls up in a tow truck. I expect you to go out and tell him, no, tell them to send a woman to change my tire. Or when you walk in a restaurant and you got a male waiter, no. I want a female. Isn't that, think about it. You don't want a male doing anything for you. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. This is about how ignorant it is. If you want to live in a world like that, then you ever watch the show Wonder Woman? You ever look at where Wonder Woman comes from? You're going to live on a planet like that. Just saying. But you know what's weird about that? Where does the little kids come from? Are they hatched? How are they born? Because it's nothing but a bunch of women in it. There's so many things I can pick wrong with movies sometimes. That's what happens when your choice of drug, when you wasn't doing drugs anymore, were movies. I'd watch stuff over and over and over and over. Just like this world, I watch it repeat itself over and over and over. It's like the rewind button that's stuck. Or that pause moment in life. Things are paused too long. Because we're seeing everything that's coming, but you don't believe it. Because you don't believe it because you're so used to seeing it. You're so used to seeing it because Hollywood's been doing it for years. Well, who controls Hollywood? Satan. Who controls Satan? Lucifer. Sounds like a lose-lose battle to me. I don't even care to bring Jesus into the battle. You know why? Because I walk away from the battle. Jesus went through enough. Why do I got to make him go back into battle for something he's already defeated? It doesn't make any sense, does it? You know how bad I feel when I slip up I just automatically go over to that rack and say, well, Lord, I've been hitting you with this rod for a long time. I might as well get the whip this time because I'm a fool and just can't stop because I'm not thinking. I'm allowing the evil to control my thoughts. You know, embarrassed I am to even look at his feet. How ashamed I am. Over what? Over family? They're not my family. None of them. Now, I'm not in hatred. I'm trying to get your attention. I have plenty of family in heaven. I got plenty of family here that serves God. That truly serves God. Not these foolish people that walk around claiming they know something. You know what? I mean, over the years, I think I've heard it pretty much all. You know, and when I ask a simple question and people can't answer a simple question, why is that? Or you get the people that say, I don't want to get involved with it. Well, you're already involved with it. Your name appears in it. You know, you look at the movie credits at the end. Oh, I didn't know that person was in it. Yeah, they were there. They were the extra. Oh, they're the ones that were trying to hide from the truth. I understand that now. Not really, but I guess. Now, according to the Bible, God created what? The heavens and the earth. He spent a day creating the beginning. One day was 1,000 years. So, if you have one day, and again, I've talked about this before, so you got to take 365 days, and then every 4 years you got to add leap year. So you're at least going to have 1 year out of that 7 that you're going to have 366 days. So 366 days, as each day is 1,000 years. So that's 366,000 years. I mean, correct me, my math sometimes goes a little softball, but I'm sitting there trying to think in my head, if one day is 1,000 years, you got 365 days, then you got 365 years. Because if a day is 1, and it's 1 year, and you do that by 365, it'd be 365 years. So then you do 365 by 7. What do you got? That's a lot of freaking years. That's what you got. I don't even need to do the math on it. I don't want no part of it because guess what? That's just here on earth. That's not going to hell. Yeah, you may try to fight all the way through it, but let me put it to the test for you, okay? Here's what I want you to do. Go as long as you can. But I say at least try to do 3 days. You're not going to die in 3 days, but at least you try to do 3 days. I want you to take a pot and stick it outside. Better yet, I want you to dig a hole. And dig a hole and fill it full of water and leave it alone. And I want you to try not to eat anything for at least 3 days. You at least got to go on 2 days. First day sucks because you're hungry and you're going to want to cave in. But I want you to picture everything is rotten with maggots all over it. I want you to do, now it'd be nice if you could do this on a hot summer during the summer. But it really doesn't matter because food spoils quick anyways. But not so much in the cold. But I want you to throw out some food. It can be cooked, whatever. And let it sit in the hottest place you can put it for a couple days before you start this. So let's just say you're gonna try this on a Sunday. So Thursday, I want you to put something out and let it sit and sit and sit and sit. And then go to try to eat it. Good luck. Why am I telling you this? Because that's what's going to happen to you. Them pains and that gut wrench feeling. And that muddy water out there with everything, leaves on it and everything else flying around, whatever, bugs could be swimming in it, whatever, might be the only water you're going to have to survive. You really think you're not going to take that mark of the beast willingly? When you can't even live in a world today with free will? But you're going to have to be hiding. You're not going to live in your house. You're going to be hiding out there in the world. You're not going to have a car to sleep in because they're going to find you. They will capture you and they will put you in what they're going to call FEMA camps for your own protection. It's basically a prison. Wait a minute. I've never been to prison. Well, you're about to. You're putting yourself in prison. How many of you are depressed? If you can raise your hand, you're in prison. How many of you have suicidal thoughts? You're in prison. You're just freely walking around, but you're in a big prison cell. It's just a bigger cell. How many of you feel like you're not important? You're in a prison. How many of you feel like everybody just walks all over you? That's another prison. How many of you just does whatever for whoever you can because they ask because you want to be accepted? There's another prison. How many of you get taken advantage of? There's another prison for you. You may say, how is this a prison? How many of you worry about everything? Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, did you read the news? Oh my goodness, they're going to shut this off and stores are closing and the world is going to do this. People, Google is the evilest thing you could possibly get on because Google never lies. Nor do your friends on Facebook. Nor does anything. YouTube is full of fake. You know what amazes me? You know how many things are actually out there that you don't know exist, that people speak about, and people believe it. They believe it. Look how many people spoke all these things. And some of them got it right, some of them didn't. But I'm telling you, currency, they're already, you're going to start hearing there's problems with money, there's problem with the paper. If you have money, even if it's got a tear in it, most places are going to stop receiving it. They're coming up with excuses now why they're not going to take this money. because they want to do away with it. They want everything plastic. Before long, I mean, I pulled out our bank card the other day, and I was like, man, my bank card's cracked. How's that? How is that? When I got 2 credit cards around it, neither one of them are cracked, but my bank card is. That's interesting. Because it eventually gets to a point where they start leading you more into that chip. What if I don't want to take that chip? Why do I have to take it? What's wrong with the card? Give me a little fob then. Put that damn chip in a fob and let me scan that fob over stuff. They have fobs now you can scan over stuff. They got ID cards that you can scan that scans you into places. I was just at a DC and I walked in to go inside to get my paperwork, and I happened to look down at the new doors and stuff they put in, and there's a scan thing in it. And the crazy thing is, I visualized this in a dream, and people were scanning their right hand to get in. Some would look down and scan the top of their heads, and I couldn't get in the building because I didn't have the ability to scan. And when they told me, oh, we'll let you in, you just got to come right over here, and we'll get this chip into you, either way, wherever you want to put it. Don't worry, you're not going to feel it, it's not going to hurt, it'll be quick and fast. I'm not worried, because you're not going to do it. See, technology doesn't control me. I controlled it. You know, you ever get in a situation where you're around somebody and they're constantly punching numbers on stuff? How much that cost? How much this? And then you forget about sometimes, because you're focused on a dollar amount, but you forget about sometimes how, I'll use myself as an example. That way, anybody hears this that goes, are they talking about me? No, I'm not talking about you. But again, I say, if it hits you that way, then the Spirit is speaking to you. You need to figure out why it's bothering you. Again, being offended falls under that. I can't offend you. But what I'm saying is you have to believe it. Something in you believes what I'm saying and you're hurt by it. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just trying to speak the truth. But the truth sometimes will set you free, or the truth will sometimes will bury you too. Because some people's truth isn't really truth. It's a bunch of hogwash. I mean, the water's so bad the pigs won't even go in. What does that tell you? They don't care what they get in. So, where was I going with that? Because now my brain's going on 50 million other things. That's the problem. I don't know. I have to go back and listen to it because it totally just lost my mind, because I started thinking about this other thing that I wanted to tell you. But anyways, you have to look at where we're at, first of all. We have to look at where we're at. Because your free will destroy you. It will take everything from you because you allow it to happen. When you allow it to happen, you have nobody to blame but yourself. You can't blame somebody else because you have that free will. And if you have that free will, then you can't be mad at somebody else. Each day, we have an opportunity to correct what's in our lives. Each day, you have an opportunity to do what's right. But instead, you want to go down a pathway of pointing the fingers and blaming everybody else. When it's your own fault. Your own fault. Doesn't matter what your friends say. Doesn't matter what your family thinks. Doesn't matter what your spouse says. Because if it's against God, you need to get away from it. People can say what they want. But where are you? You're standing back watching the parade go by and losing more of yourself. They're going to send me to heaven real fast because I'm not going to do any of this nonsense. I don't care if somebody stands there and tries to convince me that chip is not the mark of the beast. It's just a chip. You can speak all your crazy thoughts you want to speak because it's exactly what it is. First of all, it's the government. I don't trust it. Second of all, I'm not trusting man to tell me it's just a chip. I'm willingly putting it in my body. I'm not taking that willingly chance that you're wrong. You may say, no, if he's right. No, if he's wrong. If he's wrong, I just willingly took the damn chip. I'm going to hell. You may say, well, you were tricked and deceived. No, the Bible says me to be warned of these things. I'm being warned. I'm watching out for it. I'm watching what the world's doing. I can't help what I see. I can't help what I have visions of. I can't help what I have dreams about. I can't help if I'm doing something in the middle of the day and all of a sudden, flash, these things come to my mind. It's enough to make you frightened some days. But what amazes me is I got family members that have lived in a house that we grew up in Copley. They seen it. I asked my oldest sister, did you ever see that girl? Or was it just me? She said, no, I seen it. I asked my sister that passed away, I asked her and she said, yeah, now I seen it. It scared me so bad. I said, then why'd you try to lock me in the basement? Throw my stuff down. She goes, it wasn't me. I said, yeah, it was. I had seen you. You shut the door. Oh, well, wait a minute. Wait, hold up right there. Stop the presses. Now you can see why I can talk about the things I talk about. I talk about the jinns. I talk about, what if you want to call it, jinn, whatever. It's the watcher. It's the shift changers. I've seen them from a child, and I still see them today, and I hear people talk about them today, and I see people being deceived by them, and that's how Lucifer wins the battle, because you are naive and allow him to do whatever. You got children coming up to you, oh, I'm at an altar of Satan. Really? Where's this altar at? I want to go see it. Because I guarantee it, I shouldn't be able to get 3 feet from it without either smelling, hearing, feeling. Because you just don't walk into an altar of Satan and worship Satan at an altar and freely walk away, people, because that's a crock of crap. Unless they truly gave their lives to Christ, they're truly surrendered under Christ, they truly received Christ's blood. I'm telling you right now, it never did exist. It was attention seeker. I talked to a couple people, and it's funny. I told the guy once, I was on the phone with him, and I'm talking to him, and he goes into this room. I was like, I hear a door open, and I was like, you okay? And he goes, yeah. I'm just going to try to get a little bit quieter to where it's quiet. Okay. And he's sitting there, and he's talking, and all of a sudden he got real quiet. And he goes, well, what do you think about that? So I'm giving him my thoughts on it. And all of a sudden, he gets real quiet again. And I'm like, what the heck is going on with this guy? And all of a sudden, I hear this tick, 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 tick. And I said, can you please put the phone down away from that clock? I don't have the phone by the clock. Yes, you do. You're holding the phone with your right hand up next to this clock so I can hear it tick. Can you please stop that, or I will end this call? And I'm being very serious about this right now. I'm asking you nicely. Please remove that phone from the side there. He says, wait a minute. I said, you look like you're at some kind of like little library thing or den or something. I don't know. I see 4 shelves. I see 2 on one side, another side, a pitcher in the middle, and a little flat table looking thing with, it looks like a pot or something on it. I can't really quite make it out. And a desk right in front of it. Yeah, it's my office. I said, yeah. And right off to the other wall, there's a closet, and then there's a clock on the wall hanging that you have in your right hand, your phone against that side of that clock. Please take that away from that clock. And all of a sudden I hear this, like, oh. And he says, I'm sorry. I said, for? He says, for a couple things. Upset you, and the fact I just wanted to see what you would do if you heard a silence with the clock. I said, if you could see me like I just saw you, but it's funny, you're not even thinking about all the things I just described to you. You're thinking about what I said in the video about that damn clock. And it bothers me. I said, right now I got tears coming up in my eyes, and I got cold chills, and I'm froze. Because you don't know that sound. You don't know what that is in hell when you hear that. It's hopeless. It's hopeless when you look out and you see things and you can't go there. The hopeless, the knowing, the understanding now you are never leaving the prison that you made. People in prison here on earth in a building are still free. You're not free there. That is my life that I created. That is my kingdom I created. That is my own personal hell that I will live the rest of my life. And you're going to put that phone up to a clock to see if I'm telling the truth? I have no more to say to you. May God be with you. May you find the answers you want, but it's not going to be with me. Now, I did get an email later on. Can we talk by email? No, thank you. No, thank you. Aren't you supposed to reach out to the lost, the ones that are stranded? No, I am, but not to the devil. To the devil done showed himself. I don't need to know what devil he is. I don't need to know what's in it. I'm not willing to do the work unless God puts me there. God didn't put me there. If God put me there, I would have known about it. I would feel it. I've had so many people, their children, and I said, let me talk to them. Aren't you going to cast out this and say a prayer? Not yet. It's like, that'd be like running into a room with a bunch of demons and going, here I am, here's some holy water, and I'm going to cast y'all to hell. First of all, you got to know what you're dealing with. Second of all, I'm not a whole expert on every demon, but I guarantee it, I've witnessed enough of them. They all kind of copy themselves. So you know what the most powerful thing is? The most powerful thing is Jesus Christ's blood. The most powerful thing that we have under that is faith. Then now we can go one more step under faith. Jesus' blood, which is Jesus. The authority of him that he gives from the Father, he gives it to us. Our faith, which if you branched off faith, trust, and obedience, you take Jesus' blood, belongs to Jesus, which he is an image and created under God. So there's your three there. Then you take death, fear, and knowing. I know I'm not in fear of death. Because death can't hold me. Because I will not die. Death is when I enter hell. Knowing I'm going to heaven, I fear not hell. When I died, according to some, I didn't. According to some, you always got to have a near-death experience to experience what you experience over and over and over. Well, no, I'm sorry to tell people, I don't care what your beliefs is. I don't care how smart you are, how educated you are, how many books you read, how many degrees you got, how many. You've been a psychiatrist for 72 years. I could care less, because the only thing I go by is what the good word says, the living word, the true word, the word of God, the word of Jesus that has came, because he is the truth, he is the way, he's the only way into the Father, which to do that is to do what? Believe, walk in faith, walk in trust, walk in sight, be baptized by the water to be the Spirit poured out to you, the same as it was poured out to Jesus. Why did Jesus have to do it then? He didn't have to do it, but he did it to set the example, to show us. And then we go into communities and take up this cup, and as you do with this, often, in remembrance of me, drink of this cup. But you're not supposed to drink up the cup or take up the bread if you got issues against someone. Because if you do, then Christ's blood is on you. That's why people don't do communion in churches. You go into a Jehovah's Witness, unless the Spirit speaks to you, and you're going to be the ones out of the 144,000, then you may take communion. Otherwise, we don't take communion. And they'll pass it around, and it'll go all the way around the whole entire room. And I tell you what, you can count 4 cups, you can count 4 pieces of bread, whatever, and it'll come back with the same amount of number. Because not one person will take it. You know why? Because they're not in the Spirit with God. They're not in the Spirit with Jesus. God made it so simple. He poured his Spirit into Jesus, and Jesus says I shall go, and it's best that I go, that I can pour out to help me, to help you all. I cannot be everywhere at once when I'm human flesh, but I can in spirit. He pours it out into us when we accept him. But you got to understand something. It doesn't come out. Some people do speak in tongues right away, but it doesn't mean that the Spirit, because the Spirit won't go to evil. When you start walking on that evil, what we call the backsliding, you think the Spirit's going to go in there and drink that alcohol with you? You think the Spirit's going to go in there and smoke them drugs? Do you think the Spirit's going to go in there and watch you do fornication? Do you think the Spirit is going to go and you decide you want to go steal something? Do you really think the holiness of God is going to do these things? No! Wake up, you're being deceived. You're seeing what Lucifer wants you to see because he sent Satan to do these things. He's getting ready to send his son to come in here and wreak havoc. But they're going to have a peace treaty before. It's coming. Look at Israel. Look what's happening. People, wake up. Look at your children. Look at what they're wearing. Look at the piercings. Look at their tattoos. If you start seeing these panthers and these lions and these wolves and all this stuff that they got on them, you know what really gets me is the ones that put these sceneries on them. Take a good hard look. Holy moly, man! I tell you what, I could really go in another direction with that whole nonsense. Well, now it's just because somebody tattoos himself doesn't. No, let me tell you something. It most certainly does. I have seen people go into prison, not jail, prison, come out with tattoos on them and all this stuff, and I said, what in the world? He said, man, I put these little dots on me, on my leg. I said, yeah, I can see that, clearly see it. What is it? Every time I was raped, Nelson, I put a dot on me. That's the only way I can cope with it. And you think after a while they get tired of raping me, but they didn't. I don't even know if I'm a human anymore. I don't know, man. I feel like I want to die. I felt like I wanted to scream. I become so angry. All I wanted to do was work out. They'd rape me and rape me and rape me and rape me. And laugh at me. Do bad things to me. Well, he's no longer here. He killed himself. Couldn't take it. The beast won. But you know one thing he never did? He never blamed anybody else. But yet he told me the demons. He said, man, oh man, oh man, all the years I've listened to you, and we'd sit sometimes. We'd go out to this one place and just sit on this ledge and just watch the water flow. And I remember sharing some of the things that I've seen. And I remember the last time I talked to him, he says, it's overcoming me. And I didn't think about it until I found out that he passed away. But it wasn't meant to be. I think he was already gone. I personally think the last moment I had with him was the only moment that he was still possessed of his own self. The demons already took host of his flesh. I got to speak with him for that last moment. See, but if I would have known Christ then, maybe I could have done something. I could barely save myself, people, let alone save him. That's why when you see all these people out here making mockeries of things, and I got shot twice, and I got this, that bothers me. You want to do a podcast with me? Then let me come on and let me speak the real hell to you. Let me speak the real prison to you. Let me come on there and do it unfiltered, because I can't get that kind of information out there because YouTube blocks me. And trying to upload stuff on whatever that other channel was, what a nightmare. I got an email, and I'm going to end this because I'm sure I'm getting way up in that time. I got an email, I just read it this morning. And I don't know why it bothered me, but it did. And again, I'm okay with everything I do, because I wait on the Lord to speak it. Or if I truly feel that I should be doing what I'm doing, I do it. If I'm wrong, Then I asked the Lord, why did it happen? Because I know God has a purpose, plan, and a reason for everything He does in my life. The same as He does with you. But the email wrote this. To whom it may concern. And I started thinking about what's going on with Darlene right now. And I was like, okay, what the heck is this? Now, first of all, my mind's already going. So I'm starting to read it. Nelson, okay, why did you start off with to whom it may concern and then put my name right after? I know you don't know me, but I watched a couple of your videos and I seen the one where you did your house, but the video's gone. I went to show somebody that and it's gone. And I explained it. Okay? I am going to redo the toy room, but not that I need to, I just want to. I like it. So then it goes on to proceed that I'm worldly, I'm a hypocrite, I'm a wasteful person of God's money. My wife should be ashamed of me. I'm an immature little kid. The Bible says, do not store up treasures, it says. You are glorifying in treasures. These are your idols. Look at this, look at that. That's why your wife tells you that you said on a video it's between you and God, because she's trying to tell you how disgusted and filthy and foolish she thinks this is. Well, let me stop right there. And I don't know if Darlene will ever watch this video or come across it. Some of them she watched, some of them she don't. But even if she does, it's nothing I wouldn't say to her. If that's truly how she feels, then she's lying. Because she should have came to me in the beginning. Second of all, I am not doing anything wrong. You think God will not bless and restore things in my life? Well, am I not worthy to have something restored that was stolen from me? That brought a lot of pain to me? I don't idolize that stuff. If somebody broke in and stole it, the house caught on fire, I'd miss it. Like I'd miss the house. But I guarantee you that's what insurance is for, and they rebuild it. I may never be able to rebuild that stuff. I look at the Star Wars stuff and go, man, wow. If I could have played with that when I was little, I know kids that had some of that stuff and they never played with it. I would play with it. So you're going to come at me. You have no idea. So let me ask people something. You can leave a comment if you want. You don't have to. It doesn't matter. Do you go out and work out? Do you go to a gym and work out after work? Do you go and play cards on the weekend? Do you go to your favorite dinner place on a Friday night or a Saturday? Do you have friends over and you sit and talk, maybe drink a glass of wine, maybe not, maybe you don't drink at all? The Bible doesn't clearly state, it says drunkenness. It doesn't say you can't drink, it just says drunkenness. So if you can't control it, then I recommend you don't do it. So let's just throw that out before you say, well, you're telling people to drink. No, I'm saying the Bible doesn't say you can't. Nothing wrong with drinking a glass of wine, but if you're a fool with it, don't do it. That's all I'm saying. You know yourself. I don't know you. I worked with an Italian for years. I worked under him. He was my boss. It was nothing uncommon for me to see him drink a glass of wine with his meal. But he wasn't a drunk. He was mean. Treated you like crap most of the time, but Okay. So what's this other Italian I worked for? And then I worked for another one that was super nice. takes the third one to actually let you appreciate it, because you can judge the country real quick. Are they all like this? Scary thought. Same as if you judge somebody by their skin color, you're missing out on someone great. Or someone may take for granted what you're saying. Because if I ever talk to you and you take something a certain way and I say, well, what if I was? If I'm giving you that answer the next thing, it's automatically testing you to see where your thoughts are. To see how you're falsely accusing me. You know how many people stop talking to me? It's a mind-blowing how this happens. But do you go and play bingo? Do you play the lottery? Do you go in? I can come up with 1,000 different ways to say activity-wise. Do you go and buy movies? Do you go and buy makeup? Do you go and tanning? Do you go and do whatever the heck you go and do? Do you go get your nails done, your hair done? Do you go and get Botox put in your face? I mean, come on, people. Do you go shopping and buy something that do you have a collection of dolls or something else? Do you do whatever you do? And I'm not justifying what I bought. I can tell you this much. It's roughly what I got invested into it with the shelves and all. It's about $2,800. $2,800. Okay. Now you take $2,800, and you may say, well, you was complaining about your car. I wasn't complaining about my car. I was just talking about how I mess up and how I wait on God. So I take $2,800, okay? Now, you go back in the years when I've had all this stuff stripped from me. $2,800 when I walked around with holes in my boots to make sure my kids have what they want, even though my kids did what they've done to me and how they look and what I look at them today, because now I truly see how they are, how they really feel about me, what they really think about me, because they show it. Let's not even go on there yet. Let's just go with this. So you look at all that time that I put kids through school, when I got with my first wife and she had kids, and I went through the nonsense with that and all the crap, but I treated them like my own. I went without. I had to go without stuff for the business because somebody was spending the money, and I had to work even harder. I didn't have the right tools when I was doing maintenance because there was no money. And I put myself last through everything. And if you're going to sit here and tell me that God did not restore stuff in my life, but the amazing thing is, when I was going into the Benz, I was a little boy. But hear me out. I was a little boy. It's not about the toys, people. God restored my childhood. He allowed me to be a child for a short time. Because the world says it's wrong. People tell me I'm wrong. God restored a part of my childhood that I didn't have. So how dare you judge me? How dare you come against me when you don't know nothing? Because I was enjoying what nobody else really knows.
Miles ahead, stay on I-90
See, people
West
were in there
and
rummaging
right.
through these bins to go and resell. I was going in there as a little boy with Georgie on the back of my big wheel, asking him if the wagon's coming loose. Because I didn't know how to tie knots. I just wrapped it around the handles and wrapped it around the toolbox thing on the back of the big wheel as best as I could. can't go and work out. I can't go and do the things that I used to be able to do. I'm a prisoner behind this steering wheel some days, but I'm thankful. I might not be able to get out and run. I tried to jog down inside the
1
trailer,
mile ahead,
the truck and
stay
trailer,
on I-90
which
West as it bears right.
ain't that bad. It took everything I had just to do that. So me going and standing next to a bed, sorting through stuff, and when I picked up something, I looked at it. I visualized where I was going to put it. And every time I walk down them steps and I walk over,
0.3 miles
I think
ahead,
the-
stay on I-90 West as it bears right.
and I thank the Lord for giving me that opportunity to enjoy some of my childhood.
Stay on I-90
Hey.
West as it bears right.
So before you come and think I'm idolizing anything, you better back off. And you better sit and listen to the words that I'm saying right now. And for your information,
1 mile ahead,
Not
use the
that I
left
owe
two
you
lanes to stay
anything.
on I-271 South.
I haven't been in the beds in months. Easy, almost a month now. Maybe going on longer. I find myself justifying things. I didn't even realize I was doing it until the other day. I went out and got Darlene this shelf thing I thought was going to work fine for the spaceship room / spare bedroom / whatever you want to call it. And I
0.3
realized when I was
miles
putting
ahead,
it
use
together,
the left two
it was
lanes to stay on
way
I-271
too
South.
big. So I'm like, darn. So I'm like, all right, I take it downstairs in, and I'm thinking I can put it along the back wall.
Use the left two lanes to stay on
And
I-271
I'm
South.
looking at that going, man, I might have to move some stuff around or whatever. And the first thing that went through my head is,
12.2 miles ahead.
I did
use the
not
left
do
two
this
lanes to
without
stay
any
on
other intention but to
I-271
put it in that room. And I know she believes me. But I feel like every time I mention a shelf down there, is it going... Now this is... I have no proof of this. It could be simply Satan himself. But I keep going in there, oh my gosh, if I mention the shelf, is she going to think I'm going to go on there, go to the bins, or go do this because I got extra shelf? I got extra shelf right now. I got empty, and there's nothing on it. There's a couple of action figures and stuff on it, but I don't have anything to finish it.
1 mile ahead, take exit 187 and then turn left on Ohio 84 West Bishop Road.
So if there's nothing to finish it, am I done with it? People, you can have all the money you want in the bank. If these banks crash, you just lost all that money and you've done nothing. You have no excitement, you have nothing. You didn't go on nothing because there's nothing wrong with planning for tomorrow, and I'm not saying being foolish. But if you can't enjoy life along with it, I've worked my you-know-what off my whole entire life. I worried about everybody else, done for everybody else. I did things when I didn't even really want to do it. But I did it because they asked me to. And look where it got me.
Turn left on Ohio 84 West Bishop Road, then turn left.
That is why I think I have never put the toy room back on. I'm not embarrassed of my house. Well, I should say Darlene's house, our house, whatever you want to say. But I'm just speaking of myself. because I know people like to do that too. Well, you didn't include this or that. Well, get over it yourself. I'm talking about myself. Why would I say we or us or whatever if I'm talking about myself? It makes no sense. You ever get in a conversation with somebody, well, what about me? Well, what do you mean? I'm talking about me. I don't know your feelings. I can think I can speak a little bit about your feelings right now, but if I'm not really for sure, is it legit for me to talk about if I don't know 100% how you would really feel about this? Is it right to say that I do? I don't think it is. Unless I 100%. There's a lot of stuff that I will go on and say, yes, I can 100% speak for Darlene and say yes. CG. My little pal and his little compartment there. But you know, life is what it is. But here's where I'm going with this. Here's where I'm going with it. I used to polish floors all the time, pull out the refrigerators, do all this stuff because I had nothing else to do. Times I would just go back into work when I didn't even need to be there because my youngest daughter and my son wasn't home. A lot of times I would stop and order food and go to the movie place and rent some movies. Most of the time I was working around the house. I was doing stuff there, working in the garage, doing something out there, going outside, pulling weeds, doing something. But I didn't do it for me. See, I didn't know how to do anything for me. All I knew is how to do stuff for somebody else. When there was nobody in place, I felt lost. What am I supposed to do? And I remember one Saturday night walking down the stairs and I seen something blow across the basement floor, and I just shook my head, just kept going, walked in there, threw the clothes from the washer into the dryer. You see stuff move, big deal, don't care, not giving it any attention. And I remember coming back up and sitting down at the table. Went over there, grabbed the stuff out of the oven. Still never got a chance to finish looking at the dishwasher that I was in the process of doing, because when I first moved in there, it was full of water. And it stunk so freaking bad. I literally had to take a shop vac and suck the water out of it and let it open up. Luckily, it was just me in there at first, and I opened the windows and stuff to get that nasty stench water out of there. Which tells me something got wrapped up in the pump or something else, or the dang thing just went out, depends on how old it was. Sounds like it's been in that house for a long time. But it still came on. It still sprayed water and the thing still turned, it just wasn't draining, which tells me something jammed up in it. Now, there wasn't a lot of storage space or anything like that in that house, so it ended up becoming a place to put pots and pans after I got all the stench out and the nasty smell. But I got blamed for breaking that too. I got blamed for a lot of things. Tiles falling off the wall. Well, at that point, there was no access in there, so I'm like, well, maybe if I'll just go into here and cut a hole here, make an access panel, that way I can get in there and fix the faucet issues and stuff that was in the bathtub. The countertop wasn't intact. I mean, there's so many things that I think people forget about. But I sat there, staring at my dinner, looking around, and sometimes the quiet back then would bother me more than noise. I think that's why I always slept with the radio on. Alright, we'll leave a TV or something playing. I always have music playing somewhere. And I think the reason why, so I didn't have to listen to the voices. Because when you hear a song, you're concentrating on the words. Half the time we may sing a song and not even realize that we're singing, even if the words are right. How many times did you sing a song and somebody says, that ain't the lyrics to that song? Oh. But I heard this voice, real calm. Calmest voice ever. Well, what then in my life anyway? And I heard her just say, why are you in so much pain? I never turned around to look to see if someone was in the house. I never turned around to look to see if anyone was sitting next to me. I just felt a hand like wrapped on my right shoulder. The fingers came around like you're massaging somebody standing behind them. And I felt the squeeze on both. Then I felt the other hand on my left shoulder. Now, I wasn't at unease with this. I was at peace with it. I wasn't disturbed by it. I was comforted by it. And I've never told anybody this. Ever. And I heard her whisper again in my ear. And I told her, I said, listen, I don't know why things happen. I question sometimes why I had to go through what I went through. I question the anger, my hate. I question why. What's the purpose? Why did I have to see these things? Why did I have to go through these things? Why me? For me? Pity me? Then I realized all the pity in the world. That's why I tell people today, I don't want your pity. Live from what I've done. See what I've done. See how God has rescued me by sending His Son. If He done it for me, He can do it for you. But you got to be willingly ready when He starts pruning off them rotten, poisonous branches and taking them thorns that are wrapped around you full of poison. You got to be ready to let it go. Even if it's people. Even if it's family. Even if it's friends, even if it's acquaintances, even if it's co-workers that you just hang out with, It may be a spouse, it may be whatever. Well, God doesn't cause divorce. Well, I'm just saying, if you're in an evil relationship that wasn't a godly relationship in the first place, I'm here to tell you, I went all through the Bible. I Googled, all-knowing Google. I even picked up the Magic 8 Ball and said, hey, Magic 8 Ball, show me the Magic 8 Ball. Says, hey, try it again later. Little humor there, people. But let me tell you, what she spoke next, sat there. Couldn't speak another word. I tried. She says, sometimes bad happens. And sometimes what happens through the bad understand God get glory in the end. So He's going to get glory in the end, but I got to go through this. And then she said this. Did you have to go through it? All of it? Or did you just willingly do it? I said, When I'm a child, she goes, listen to what I spoke. Did you willingly go through it, or did you have to go through it? I said, well, I would imagine as a child, I had to go through it. I mean, what am I going to do? When I got older, I would have to say willingly. But is it willingly because I didn't know any better? Willingly, that's all I had to, that I knew that it was the best of what the options I had? I wasn't allowed to go to family. I paid my youngest sister, was a year and a half older than me, paid her money, and if I didn't give her more money when she wanted or do whatever she wanted, she'd lock the doors and make me sleep on the porch. Like a dog. She spoke, and those were the days I weep for you. Those are the days I gathered your tears and took them to the Lord. I didn't do nothing the rest of the day. Nothing. Didn't watch TV. Didn't listen to music. I went outside, sat on the back screened-in patio that I fixed the screen so many times by the oldest son. Animals that he had that was busting through them. And I finally got tired of fixing them, and then I fixed them again after they were gone. Then ended up dog sitting for a person, and her dogs ran through there. And after a while, you just get tired of fixing stuff. Because I ended up watching them again, and it did the same thing. And I'm like, okay, I'm not fixing these screens anymore. I'm tired. These things are a pain in the butt trying to fix. Plus, I was busy. Little things that you normally would drive you crazy, you get to a point you go, I just don't have the time to go out there and fix this. When you got a list of other things that you're thinking about. I'm going to finish this video on this. Take the time to step back today or tomorrow, whenever you hear this video. Just go to a quiet place. No distractions, no phones, no TV, no kids, no spouses, no friends, no work, no nothing, and just sit there and tell your angel to put their hands on your shoulders to whisper to you. It's okay to cry. It's okay to laugh. I tell you what, today, it doesn't matter if the chair's not pushed all the way into the table. Sometimes I leave the chairs out just because I'm so, oh God, the chairs are out of place. Oh, I gotta push them in. Oh, there's a cup on the counter. Oh my gosh, there's paper sitting out. Oh, this isn't put together right. Today, people, I get to live in a house. It doesn't matter if it's clean to someone else's standards. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of dust up on the fan blade. It doesn't matter if there's a pot on top of the stove. It doesn't matter if there's a pair of shoes that's not put away. It doesn't matter if the coat is hanging on the back of a chair. It doesn't matter if the floors are not swept 17 times in a month. What matters is God first, is Jesus second, is my wife third. Do I love her as Jesus loves the church? Am I doing right by her? Whatever God throws me left for me, then how can someone judge me? If you don't know me. But people judge all the time. Nobody really knows because they don't go back and think about life. So that being said, God bless you. Love you. And I truly do. I don't even know you. I don't need to know you. Maybe I'll know you someday. I don't know. Maybe I'll get to hear your voice. Maybe I'll get to stand face to face with you. Maybe not here on earth. Maybe in heaven. Maybe you'll be one of those ones in that dream. For some reason, you wanted to stay behind. Maybe you didn't believe enough, or maybe you just wanted to stay behind just to see what Eve truly looked like. I don't know. Only God knows why he does what he does. I recommend you go to heaven, though, if you have the opportunity to go. I'm trying to give you an opportunity to go. You can take all your emails, all the things that you say, I'm bashing my children, bashing this. No, I pray for my children. I pray for my children's children more often. I pray for those than I do for the actual children because they're old enough to know better. That's why I told God I don't want a name in heaven. You don't have to rename me. And so, my understanding, he gave me the name He in heaven. And I'm okay with that. Because I was called everything but my name here. I really don't even know my name. So this Thanksgiving, probably today's Tuesday, so I'll probably be doing it tomorrow, or maybe tonight. Probably do it tonight. To get it uploaded by tomorrow. We'll be doing a Thanksgiving video. Maybe not what you're probably thinking. But I can tell you one thing that I will say, and you'll hear it again tomorrow. If you don't hear it on this video, you'll hear it tomorrow for sure. I'm thankful. You know, I don't know who likes the videos because it doesn't show. I don't know who gives the videos thumbs down. So far, I don't think I've ever got a thumbs down. It doesn't really matter if I did. If I did, that's your thoughts on it. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with your negative comments. I'm okay with that. But I'm okay with the emails. I had somebody give me an email saying, you know why people don't comment? Because they're afraid you're going to attack them. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just, if you can answer something, I should be able to answer you. That's not attacking. But if you come at me in an evil way, you're right. I'm going to battle you the way that you come at me. And I do it in a loving, caring way, not a spiteful, hateful way. That's what they call this, trolls. But I'm thankful. Thankful for the ones that stuck through. Some of you have been there from the beginning. Some of you came through the middle of it. And some of you came when it was just strictly truck. I just stop and think, my gosh, have I always done these videos in the truck? But no, I didn't start off doing them in the truck. I just started doing them because I had a lot of stuff to talk about. I still do. I gotta go back and comment on the last two videos. But it's amazing how a lot of people disappeared. Now, I don't know, again, I don't know who's liking the videos, but I will tell you this. 2 people come to mind. And I'm just going to say their names. And I'm not putting those above anybody else. I'm just saying 2 people come to mind that I already know if I see comments Two people. And you know what's amazing about these two people? Their ability to put light onto things. Ability to stand up behind me to say, no, you're looking at it wrong. This is what it is. Because you know why? Because that's where the education stuff comes in. They come into the effect of doing this knowingly. No, I've been on here long enough. I know what he's doing. And then I go with some of the stuff that gets emailed and comments and stuff. Well, how come Darlene never comments and stuff? She only comments because she feels in herself that she's only going to reply to the ones that talk to her, that mention her. Because, like she says, if you were in person, she'd be like, I don't know how he's going to respond to this. I don't know how he's going to answer this. But she does stand up for it. When I was being accused of all these things, for a split moment, it had to be getting in her head. But when I started presenting the truth and started bringing up incidents that's happened, and then she's on YouTube watching stuff as she's working out and doing stuff and whatever, and things just happen to come up and other people start talking about it, there's God speaking to her. No, this is really happening. They're just seeing what they want. But she stood by me when nobody else would. When no one else would. I got a brother-in-law that I've been hearing been running his mouth about me. He made a comment at a cookout. Whatever it was, I don't even remember what it was now. I think it was 4th of July or something, I don't know. And that was his last straw with me. Because you pushed a button that took me into a dark place. Because now you made me go into that area that I have to fight. And bad things came to my head. I seen things happening that if it wasn't for my sister, I didn't even recall her coming out. I remember Darlene coming out and saying something, but it's what he said and what I went through the vision of what was about to happen. It scared me. It scared me. Then turn around and hear a bunch of other stuff. How I care not to be around it. The devil's knocking, the door ain't open. I love holidays. I love spending time with family. I love having cookouts. I love having people over, sharing gifts, giving gifts, whether you get gifts, just doing great things for people. But you can't even do that anymore. Darlene stood next to me. I don't think she really understands the whole toy thing. I never told her. When the world hates me, I don't have a bag anymore I can go hit. But I can go over to that little wrestling ring I got with the Ultimate Warrior in there, by the way, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. He didn't come until later, but I mean, I grew up watching Hulk Hogan, Big John Studd, Andre the Giant, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, the Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov. Love Nikolai Volkov. I don't know why. Something about Nikolai Volkov and Iron Sheik when they came out, I love them too. Tag team partners. I mean, I didn't realize he was an actual Sheik. I learned that later on. He was an actual Sheik. And Nikolai Volkov was actually from Russia. The two places that we're supposed to fear, that hate us, that will kill us. See, we put fear into people, we don't even realize we're doing it, even as kids. Every time I hear Russia, I'd get scared. If I heard somebody was over from Russia, I was thinking they're here to kill us. I watch these gang movies and stuff and see black people killing black people. And I always ask my grandma, why are they killing each other? Why do they hate each other? She says, it's just a show. But gangs are real. That's what happens. They kill each other over what's turf. She goes, well, they sectioned off so many blocks and it's theirs. And then these gangs section off that section and you're not allowed to cross. I said, well, how do they go to the grocery store? This is stuff I would ask because I didn't understand. I didn't understand their turf. And you're going to kill somebody over property that you don't even own. But it's your own skin color. See, luckily I had a loving grandma that cared, that loved people, and she says we don't judge by skin. God never judged by skin. That's why we have different skin colors. So, I played with everybody. Whether you were from Japan, China, I played with all kinds of kids on the playground. I didn't care. Because when you're a kid, you don't care. That stuff doesn't hit you. It didn't hit me at home. It hit me because what the world did to me. That's where my lack of respect came. But I didn't do it to all skin color. Just go and sit. See what happens. God bless you. You're looking for the Thanksgiving video. And may you have a very blessed Thanksgiving with your family. I wish that at least Darlene could see her granddaughter and have her over to eat, but that's not possible when I'm in place. Heck, not even possible to breathe the same air, I guess. Either way, enjoy your family, enjoy your grandkids, because tomorrow may not come. It may not come because we might not be here, or it may not come because somebody gets offended by something or thinks the wrong ways in life and thinks that you're being punished. I'm not being punished. I said what I've always said. I don't attach to people because it's not guaranteed ever to be. Nor do I trust people. Lately, I'm beginning to really see more and more not to trust. Because they make it too darn hard to not let that monster out of the cage. It takes a lot for me to keep that thing chained up, and I do it by the grace of God. God bless you guys. Love you. Till the next one.